Oh boy. Hello. I promised 2 Orbit Weeklies this week, and, well, here we are. With Orbit Weekly number 2 for the week, I've got Smooth here. I promised you Smooth, and I have produced Smooth. Smooth?
I have been produced. I am here. Hello.
He has been produced. He is here in the flesh. Um, and we're here to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. So I already did my live reaction to it. I've got another handy dandy notebook here. This time it's Squirtle. And I took some notes. Me and Smooth just got done watching it, took some notes. And we're just going to talk about our thoughts on this direct a little bit more in depth. And yeah, let's get into it. So, Smooth, right off the bat, I just want to ask, what are your immediate thoughts about this direct? Like, if you had to give it a letter grade, what would you give this direct in terms of a letter grade? Just with regard to how well they presented the Switch 2, how well they got across the message of the Switch 2, uh, that sort of thing.
I would say hmm, they did go pretty in depth with the new like features that are coming on with the Switch 2 and everything. And a good chunk of announcements were pretty good. I kind of want to give it like an A minus. And if we're not doing like plus or minus, then like I would probably just give it an A. Like this was a pretty top-notch direct, honestly.
Yeah,
And
oh,
not for like personal sorry not for like personal bias or anything like that, but just in like in general it was a very solid direct.
yeah, I tend to agree. Um, I'd have to give it an A also because I think that overall, I think that Nintendo did exactly what Nintendo needed to do. They kept it simple. They kept it straightforward. They said what they needed to say about the system. This is the Switch 2. It's like your regular Switch, but better. That's all it needed to be, right? They didn't
it,
go into like any long drawn out, explanations of like whatever types of gimmicks or anything, like how they've done in the past where they try to reinvent the wheel. It was very clear cut, very straightforward. You look at this thing, and even in just the name, Switch Two, it's not called the Switcheroony or or the Switchamacallit. It's just Switch Two. You know what it is. It's very simple. I give it an A, and I think they showed incredible games, and I think that's the most important thing when you're showing off a new console is showing off incredible video games, and I think that's what Nintendo did. So I've got my notes here. I want to kind of just move down the list. Um, the first thing that they showed in this thing uh, is this chat button. That was kind of like the first sort of like hardware thing that they showed in this thing was the chat button. Well, they did. They did what? No, they opened a Mario Kart World.
yeah.
So I guess should we talk about Mario? Let's talk about Mario Kart World first, right?
Fair
Um,
all.
take my money. Take it now. Yeah, Mario Kart World looked phenomenal. It did. It looked phenomenal. Like,
It looks like a very like a huge revamp of the series with a lot of the old stuff still put in. Like I'm really hoping I know there's going to be a direct for it on the 17th. I just really hope that there is a lot more single player stuff to do in it. Because I've personally wanted the like mission mode thing from like DS or just any kind of like campaign or something for the game. And I'm hoping there is something like that with the whole free roam thing. Because it would be weird if you just drive around the entire huge map with all the courses connected and there's like nothing else to do except for just drive around. Like there's got to be stuff, especially when in that video there was a whole mini map. And normally those kind of things that would show like mission icons or anything or stuff like that in other racing games.
yeah, for
And,
sure. Um,
and just overall the visuals are beautiful. The character expressions are amazing. The amount the amount of different characters that you can drive as.
Yeah, you
You
can
can
be a
drive as
cow.
a cow.
I want to be a moo. I'm gonna be a moo main. um,
I I swear to God, if they have all these characters, but they still don't have like EGAT or Toadsworth, I'm gonna be angry.
EGAT should 100% be in this game. Uh, so you mentioned the visuals and how you think the visuals are very impressive. You know, in terms of graphics, now they didn't say the resolution or frame rate for this game. They did mention the resolution and frame rate of a particular game that we're going to talk about a little later, but they didn't mention the resolution or frame rate of Mario Kart World, which is what this new Mario Kart game is called, Mario Kart World. They didn't mention those things. I don't think I think this is going to run at 60. The other game
I would
that I was
assume, yeah.
referencing was Prime 4, which they announced Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch 2 would be running at either 4K 60 or 1080p 120. If they could get Mario Kart World at 120 FPS, that would be really impressive. If they could get that game running at 120 FPS, that would be super, super impressive. But I'm not sure if they'll be able to do that. Time will tell. But in terms of the visuals, you know, and this is the thing with Nintendo. This is why I love Nintendo. Uh, they're able to create games that look beautiful even on inferior, in quotes, inferior hardware. So you have the Switch 2, which is obviously not going to be as powerful as the PS5, Xbox Series X, even still not going to be as powerful as those consoles. But you have this console, and when they said, for instance, that Prime 4 was going to be running at 4K 60, you know, immediately I was like, how is that possible? But then I was thinking, I was like, well, I guess, you know, if like, and this was something that was discussed a long time ago, back in, you know, when the console wars were still raging between PS5 and Xbox Series X. But if a developer wants to get a game to 4K 60, they can make it 4K 60. They just need to make the decisions necessary to enable that game to run at 4K 60. There's all sorts of trade-offs. If a developer wants a game to be 4K 60, they can make it happen. It might be a 4K 60 game that's not the most highly detailed, but they could get a game running at 4K 60, you know. When the Series X came out, some of the first 120 FPS games were games that weren't super highly graphically advanced. But I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that Nintendo just has always had this tendency of taking, you know, supposedly inferior hardware and making games look incredible on it just with their art direction. And I'm hoping that the performance of Mario Kart World is up to par as well.
I
Because
would assume it will, especially with some of the third party games they're able to get running on
there
this
were
console alone.
a lot of third party games that were announced for this thing. We're going to talk about the third party stuff a little bit later. I'm going to try and stick to the order of things that we saw in the direct as we watched together. I took some notes on some of the highlights, stuff that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, Mario Kart World looks incredible. I think the trailer just speaks for itself. You can like kick off of walls. It kind of has a similar transform mechanic as in the Sonic Racing transform, where you can transform into like a boat and ride on top of the water, and transform into a plane and glide through the air and stuff like that. Open world Mario Kart game. I never thought I'd see the day, and really, I wasn't really expecting to be this interested in Mario Kart. You know, it's like, man, you give Nintendo a wheel and they will reinvent it in the best possible way. And that's feels like what they've done. Like if you would have asked me where can Mario Kart go next, none of the things that I saw in this direct, none of the things I saw in that trailer would be on my list. Like it was a total shock and surprise for me.
And it seems like they're changing up how the Grand Prix mode goes too, because
Yes.
from what it sounded like, you go through one course and then it just segments into the next one, like no loading screen or points added, uh, anything like that. It doesn't break up the pace. You just keep going. Now, I don't know for sure if it's 3 laps on the one course and then it segments to the other one. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Because in the one little segment, it still had a road turning with item boxes on one of the course that you were leaving, and then going into this other segment. Like there was a different road leading to that. So it might be like 3 laps, and then you just go to the next one immediately, like no loading screen or anything,
Yeah,
which is
that's possible.
very interesting.
That's what they said. I think that like a part of the race is getting to the next race. You know,
Yeah,
so it's like you win the race, but then maybe you can like race to the next race, and then you can get a higher placement if you get to the next race area faster than your opponents. I don't know, but uh, one of the things that was really impressive to me was that one of the things that was really impressive to me was the idea of this elimination mode, right? I think that's something that has like the potential to be like a viral smash hit mode because you're already playing with like a ton of different. What do they say? 24 racers at the same time, something around like
yeah.
some huge number like that. Imagine playing online with all those people and then playing an elimination race and then getting further and further and further. That gives me like Fall Guys kind of mentality. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of like like go through each race and see who's the top dog at the end. That's the vibe that it's giving me, and I think that's going to be a really exciting mode for sure. The open world mode, like you said, I hope they have some kind of missions in there. Um, that's about all I've
I,
got
I'm,
to
I'm,
say about
yeah,
Mario
I'm
Kart
sure the
World.
game's, yeah, I'm sure the game's gonna have a ton of content, especially when we're getting a separate direct related to the game itself.
It's got to be DLC. This is the Mario Kart
Like
game we're probably going to be playing for like the next 10 years.
oh, well, very much so.
Yeah. Anything else on Mario Kart before we move on?
No, nothing for me.
All right, so now we're going to actually talk about that chat button, right? The chat button, the mysterious C button. Nobody knew what the C button was. Now we know the C is for chat. Go figure.
Yeah, I like
Um,
how even they called said the C button.
the C button, the chat button. Nintendo put party chat in this. If you watched the last episode of Orbit Weekly, my live reaction episode, one of the things I said in the beginning was I hope that they kind of modernize the Switch 2 and sort of catch up, to the competition in some of these key features, like being able to communicate with your friends while you play your games. Why is and here we go. We have party chat in Switch, and it's cross party chat too, so it's not just game specific. You could see in the trailer people were playing all kinds of different games at the same time and still able to talk to their friends. You
Which I think
have
is pretty
this
neat.
it's like Discord, right? Which was a comparison that you made earlier, Smooth. That it's like Discord where like you can see if your friends want to share their screens, they can share their screens with you and you can see what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Um and then we have the Switch camera, um which look, I think the Switch camera is a cool idea. Personally, I think it's a cool idea. I think it is a neat idea. I think it's cool that they're going to have something like this for the Switch. It's an optional thing. It doesn't come bundled with the console. You don't need it necessarily, but it's cool because I think that it's a very Nintendo thing to do. It's like a little camera on a stick that'll sit next to your TV, and it is. It's a camera on a stick. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And you can see your friends while they're playing games. It's optional. If you want to do it, you can do it. Uh, so it's cool. It's cool and I like it. Um, I don't think I'm going to buy a camera. Uh, because I'm sure it'll cost a bajillion dollars, and I also have no interest in using that camera for anything.
Yeah, I have no interest in using it either.
But one of the things that comes
Just
to
seeing
mind,
the
I just wanted to say this real quick, Smooth. Another thing that comes to mind with the camera is it reminds me of my old days streaming on Twitch from my Xbox. Straight from the console. Uh,
oh yeah.
I wonder if the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have the processing power necessary to allow you to stream games straight from your console, like straight to Twitch. That would be really cool. That would be like a really cool feature. They didn't say anything about it yet. Maybe they're still trying to work something out with Twitch. Maybe it's just not coming at all, but that would be really cool if they were able to do something like that. So, you were saying, Smooth?
I'm gonna be honest, I lost that train of thought.
That's all right.
I, but like in general with the camera, yeah, I don't see myself getting the camera. Is it a cute little thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like it's not like a mandatory thing you need to get with the console.
I
But I mean, yeah, it'd be a cute, fun little thing with, I guess, like with your friends and family.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think this is like a great family thing. I think this is like great for like little kids. To play. Like imagine being a little kid at Christmas. You get your Switch 2, and like your family members come over. They've got their new Switch 2s. You know what I mean? And then when they go back home to wherever, you guys can still play together. On camera and whatnot. I think it's just a really cool thing. Like, would I use it? No. But it has that sort of toy-like quality that Nintendo games and consoles have had, and that's what makes them kind of magical because they're very toy-like in their sort of application. They always find these sort of unique and interesting applications for things. And look at me gushing over a camera when like Xbox and PlayStation have had cameras for years and nobody cares about those. But I just think that in a Nintendo setting, it makes a lot more sense because it's a much more family oriented thing. You can get on camera, play with your friends and with your friends and family. You know what I mean? Like if I was a kid and I had that, that would be amazing to me. That would just be incredible.
Yeah, I like
Um,
how it's not something that you connect to like the console or your controller itself. It's just on a stick.
it's a camera on a stick. Yes.
It just sits next to the console.
It
Like,
is just a
wow, all
camera on
right.
a stick and it just sits right next to the Switch. Speaking of the camera and the screen share, it was look very laggy in this tech demo. It looked extremely laggy in this little demo here. I don't think that's really gonna matter. You know,
Nah.
like I think the people that use it probably won't care about seeing. I think the like I don't think people that use it are really gonna care about seeing their opponent, their friends' games or whatever that much. I think the most important thing here is that the chat function works, and it is locked behind a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So keep that in mind. The chat feature is locked behind Nintendo Switch Online. Uh, Surprisingly, there's actually a little bit more to say about the camera because there was some integration with Mario Kart, but not Mario Kart, but Mario Party with the camera feature.
Yeah, Jamboree,
Mario
yeah.
Party Jamboree plus TV, which
Plus TV mode, yep.
is about as stupid as it sounds if you ask me. I don't like this at all. I look at this and I'm like, this just seems gimmicky and it seems lame and it does not
Kind of
seem
just
like
reminded me of kind of reminded me of like uh the like iToy camera back on like
yeah,
PS2. That's what it
yep.
reminds me of.
The iToy camera on PS. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
looks stupid. And there's like this little part where like the lady can just saying go, go to like a little go-kart is like moving with her voice. I was like,
No.
dude, I was like, you're not gonna get me to sit in my bedroom and yell go at my at my TV screen. You're not
It's
getting
like
me, bro. I'm not
they
doing it.
they they really brought mini games that would be on like the DS and 3DS onto the
Yeah,
Switch.
yeah. These are like the type of mini games that would be on the DS and 3DS to show off. They got a little microphone in them, microphones that hardly anyone ever used, right?
Yeah.
But the chat feature, party chat, is finally a thing, and they got a little camera on a stick. It's pretty cool. And now it's time to talk about these Nintendo Switch game enhancements. They are going to be paid enhancements to games. They're doing the PlayStation route with this, where and I gotta get on my soapbox. I gotta get on my soapbox right here, right?
Man, look at him. He's getting it out.
Isn't it crazy? Nintendo, I own a copy of Breath of the Wild, right? I own a copy of Breath of the Wild. I'm about to spend $450 on this Switch 2, or $500, depending on which version I get. I guess we spoiled the price, huh? I'm about to spend $450 on the Switch 2, and you're telling me that in order for me to really fully enjoy the hardware improvements of this console, I have to give you more money? I said the same thing about PS5. I bought the PS5 $500 cold hard cash, right? And now you're telling me in order to play my game at a higher frame rate, I got to give you money. Like, are you
Yep.
high? Like that's
They
ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's so anti-consumer. It really does get under my skin. And let's talk about let's talk about some of these enhancements. So Metroid Prime 4 was one. It's getting a Switch 2 version. 4K 60 or 1080p 120 is impressive. It is impressive
for Nintendo. Yeah,
it is very impressive for Nintendo. Yeah, I think that's solid for even today. Pokemon Zeta A is getting an enhancement, which is cool. They didn't specify the Zeta A enhancements, did they? I don't think they did.
no, they didn't. They really only specified the ones for Prime 4. Really, they just kind of said, "Oh yeah, this game is also getting enhancements. We won't tell you what they are, but they're getting them."
Yeah,
okay.
and I guess Mario Party Jamboree, that's considered an enhancement, even though you don't really need performance performance enhancements in a Mario Party game. It's not really a super intense game. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting enhancements.
Yes.
They're going to run at higher frame rates, higher resolutions. You're going to have to pay for them, and that's pretty much it. You know what the kicker is? And it's me and Smooth, we were cracking up about this. We were cracking up because it's so stupid. It's so stupid what the little enhancement is for this thing. You get to you get a little smartphone app where you can like have a little mini map on your smartphone and like do interactions with the game from your smartphone, and you can like have like a voice navigator tell you where stuff is in the game. And I just think to myself, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Because it's
Hyrulean
like,
maps. We definitely needed that.
When will Nintendo understand that like when I'm playing a game, I don't want to constantly be putting my controller down to pick up my phone and do something on my phone. It breaks the immersion. So that's stupid, and you're gonna have to pay for those, which is just dumb. Am I glad the games are getting enhanced? Yes. This is something I also said. I didn't expect game enhancements. I'm pretty sure I said this that I didn't expect game enhancements. I didn't think that was going to be a thing. But here we are. So
I feel like with these Switch 2 editions of games, like I feel like if it's just visuals and frame rate upgrades, it should just be, completely free. That's just how it runs on that
Microsoft
system.
is the only one that did it right. They're the only one that did it right.
Whereas if it's a game that's getting a quote unquote Switch 2 edition and it's adding on content, then I mean sure, I could see a little bit of a paywall, but a very cheap one. Like, I don't know, $5. Like that's it. Like, don't make it substantial. That'd be pretty dumb.
I think $5 is just petty. You know?
I mean,
like,
it is, but
it's like what are you, like the school bully? Like,
give
you're
me a
not gonna let me on the
lunchroom.
swing unless I give you $1. You know? It's stupid. It's just stupid. I'm not a fan of paid enhancements.
Yeah.
Smooth, did you
Especially when
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially when like some Switch 1 games you would get free updates and it wouldn't be like a paid thing or anything, it'd just be free updates. So I guess they figured they could just get a little extra money because it's going from one console to another. And it's like ones with just visuals and frame rate upgrades, it should literally just be free. Like that's just how they run on the system.
That's like,
That's
again, I always make this comparison. If I upgrade the GPU or the CPU in my computer, I don't have to pay Steam more money, or I don't even have to pay Microsoft doesn't count because even on Xbox, it's free. You get free upgrades on Xbox, which is very nice. But like or actually, wait a second, because there's PlayStation games on Steam. Wait a minute. So if I buy a new graphics card for my computer and I got Spider-Man on my PC, right? I don't have to pay extra to get the extra performance out of that game, right?
Mhm.
I just get it because I upgraded my PC. Like,
Yeah.
where's the disconnect? It's just dumb. It's dumb.
like if you get the Switch 2 and you put in a Switch 1 game, then
It should just be
then yeah,
better.
it should just be running better.
It should just be better. Uh, we're not gonna beat that dead horse any longer. Drag X Drive Smooth. Is this game's arms? Drag X Drive? Is this the Switch 2's arms?
That would be pretty funny.
That is basically what this is. That's the impression I get. You can see my reaction to it in the live reaction episode. It's like a wheelchair game because the Switch 2 controllers, like, they can be used as like computer mice. So you have the computer mice and you like use them like wheelchair wheels to play wheelchair basketball, and like you do like this, and then you could shoot that little, you know what I'm saying, like shoot the floater, like you can dunk, it looks very silly. I just think to myself, I'm like, bro, my arms are gonna get tired. Imagine me sitting down here on my desk just doing this all night long. My arms are gonna get tired.
Yeah, I'd love to see a professional tournament of that game. Just everybody doing that.
Bro, there'd be skid marks on the tables. We did fail to mention one game. What was it called? That Switch game, like the Switch Plaza game.
Demo?
Yeah, that little like tech demo type game. I forget what it was called, but I'll put it up on the screen. But there was this game, and it's basically like this. It's basically like the game that you would expect to be bundled with a Switch with any Nintendo console, right? Like Nintendo World was bundled with Wii U's, like how Wii Sports was bundled with Wii's, et cetera, et cetera. It's like just like an introduction to the console. Yeah.
It's called the Welcome Tour.
Yeah, the Welcome Tour. They're charging you money for it. They're charging you money for the Welcome Tour. They've lost their minds. They're charging you money for the Welcome Tour. And the Welcome Tour, it's just you get to walk around a giant Nintendo Switch 2, and you get to click on stuff and see how the system works from a technical standpoint. Like, what? Like, why are you charging me money for that? Why? Like, do you expect to? Like, my brain can't comprehend that.
Like, hey, isn't there supposed to be some kind of like booklet that comes with the console to explain everything?
It's like they're charging you for the instruction manual.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, bro, I can sell you this machine, but if you want to know how to work it, it'll cost you extra. Like, they're just selling you an instruction manual. I don't understand that. Like, that's confusing to me. It didn't even look fun. And that's the worst part, is that it didn't even look like something I would want to buy. Will I buy it anyway? Possibly. Maybe because
I'd laugh if they
possibly just because I want to talk about it. But like, it depends on the price also. If it's like $20, then like Nintendo can get on my face. I ain't spending $20 on that. But
I'd laugh if it's more expensive than like Switch 2 editions of games. That'd be wild.
We got a whole heap and helping of third-party support. There is sizzle reel after sizzle reel here. The third parties, they are coming out in droves to support the Switch 2. Very happy to see it. I expected nothing less, really. The Switch 1 was such a huge success for third-party developers. Now we got the Switch 2, and that's doing tremendously well as well in terms of third-party support. 2, absolute. I mean, there were some like there was Hitman that was announced, and I was like, wow, I can't believe Hitman. Elden Ring is coming to Switch 2, which was wild. Like, Elden Ring is such a perfect game to have on the go. Elden Ring is so perfect as a Switch 2 game. Like, man, that's so cool. Like, if I did, well, no, I'd probably still buy it on like PlayStation. But I was gonna say if I didn't have it on PlayStation, to get it on Switch 2. But like, man, that's really cool. Elden Ring's gonna be there. We've got Cyberpunk 2077. They got the balls. They had the testicular testicles to port Cyberpunk, one of the most notoriously buggy and worst performing games of all time. They had the massive, gigantic, planet-sized testicles to try their hand at porting that game to the Nintendo Switch 2. Hats off to CD Projekt Red. I can't even hate on that. I can't even hate on it. Like, I gotta give it to him. I gotta give it to him.
And then the
Balls
one
like that
that
come along once in a lifetime.
the one that surprised me is seeing Seven Remake.
FF7
Seven
Remake 2.
Remake. Like,
Or
what?
no, that was Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrate, right? Not Final Fantasy 7 Remake Rebirth, right?
Yeah, it was Intergrade.
Okay, so that was the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Remake
which is still
coming to Switch 2. Bro, I gotta look. Can you look up and see if this is coming to Xbox? Like, because the disrespect has to stop.
I mean, it was supposed to years ago, and then it
like,
never did.
The disrespect has to stop. The disrespect has to stop. It has not been upgraded. It has not been announced. It has not been announced for Xbox.
No.
It has not been announced for Xbox.
Well, it looks like they're
reportedly
try and put them on by 2026.
Reportedly, Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 remakes, an announcement is imminent. This was published on True Achievements in February. But yeah, no official announcement as of yet. I can't believe that this Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 7 remake is coming to Switch and not Xbox. That's crazy, but this is not about Xbox, this is about Switch. Borderlands 4 coming to Switch. Like I said, they came out the woodwork to support this console. I'm happy to see it. I'm very, very happy to see it. Third-party games should be on Switch, even though I usually don't. I only buy first-party stuff on my Switch, either first-party or Switch exclusive games. That's the only stuff I buy on there. But I'm very happy to see, I'm very pleased to see that these big, major, heavy-hitting games are coming. Like, wow. I liked Cyberpunk 2077 so much, I bought it twice. I bought it on Xbox to play it the first time, then I bought it again on PC to play it the second time. And there's a strong possibility that I'll buy it a third time to play on Switch, because I really like that game a lot. That is, if it runs. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, I'm not going to probably buy on Switch, because I still haven't even beaten it on PlayStation, but crazy to see that. And Borderlands 4, it's Borderlands, so we got, what was that game called, man? I forgot. The game, it was we got Bloodborne 2 at home. Oh. I didn't write the name of it. What was it?
Well, hang on, I'm looking through real quick.
It was the dark something.
It was like Dusk Bloods, I think. Oh, I found it.
The Dusk Bloods. You're absolutely right. It was called the Dusk Bloods. Yeah. So it's basically like it looks just like Bloodborne 2. Like, I thought it was Bloodborne 2. Again, if you watch my live reaction, I thought it was Bloodborne 2. It was the Dusk Bloods. I was like, oh, okay. It's we got Bloodborne 2 at home, pretty much, because Sony, I believe, still owns the IP for Bloodborne 2. And it's interesting because I look at the Dusk Bloods and I think to myself, I'm like, it seems like From Software wanted to do Bloodborne 2. Maybe Sony told them no, because Sony owns the IP. But I can't imagine Sony saying no. So how the Dusk Bloods came to be is kind of a mystery to me. It's kind of strange. Kind of strange. So we had that, and before we get into the two bombshells, I want to save the best for last here. I want to save the best for last. You know the two bombshells. There were two games announced at the end of this thing. If you haven't seen the direct already, two games were announced at the end of this thing that blew us away. And before we talk about those two, I want to talk about the pricing of this console and the pricing of the games. The Switch 2 is going to retail for $450 US, or $500 US with a copy of Mario Kart World bundled in. That's a lot of dollars. Now, I expected it to be $400 flat. That's what I expected. 400 flat. I did not, in my wildest dreams, expect to see a $500 Nintendo console in the year of our Lord 2025. Smooth? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I was hoping it would be at least 400. I know with everything getting more expensive and everything, it doesn't surprise me that it's 450 to 500 depending on which version you get. Well, version, but like if you get the bundle with Mario Kart or not. I'd rather it still be 400, but like 450 isn't gonna kill me, but with the with the specs and everything that they showed off, I don't know. I'd rather it be just like 400,
It's almost
but
the perfect price because, like, I think I myself and I think everybody else was expecting 400, and 450 is
yeah.
not that much more than 400. So I feel like it's the perfect price that they could just squeeze the extra $50 out of you. Because I think that most people are gonna be like, it's only $50 more. Because that's my mindset. It's just like, oh well, I was expecting 400, so 450 is not the worst. you
Yeah,
know?
they're trying to distract us from the actual game prices.
Yes. So Nintendo Switch 2 games will cost up to $80. Mario Kart
It looks
9
like
or Mario
select
Kart World,
ones, yeah.
they will cost up to $80. And I was saying this to you, Smooth. I've talked about it with other people before, but it seems like the industry is going backwards in terms of pricing because younger viewers may not remember this. Older viewers, you'll know. Back in like the 80s and 90s, games did not all cost the exact same amount of money. There was a variance and a fluctuation in game prices back then, based on development time and resources, based on, again, because some of the cartridges had to have specialized chips in them. Like there was games with like Mode 7 in them and stuff like that. Um, Depending on what chipsets were used in those cartridges, that would change the price too. Games didn't all just cost a single flat rate until like pretty pretty recently. I think like within like the last 20 years is when like flat rate prices kind of started becoming more of a thing.
Yeah.
Um so you know, it's like it's the same thing with like the console price. The global economy, and I'm not going to get into the whole economic talk, but the global economy is pretty rocky right now. That's a factor we have to consider, that the global economy is in a weird place and it's affecting the price of everything. So having a
Yeah.
$450 to $500 Switch is it's shocking, but it's not like that shocking. It's like it's not. I'm not like oh my god, I would never like pay $450 for a Switch. Like no, like I'll buy it. Having an
I
$80
mean,
Mario
hey,
Kart though, that's a little eye watering.
yeah, like
That's eye
yeah,
watering.
we were talking about this earlier, and I was saying it really, really depends on how much content is in this Mario Kart to justify $80. Which I'm glad there will be a direct to hopefully show off a lot more stuff that's gonna be in the game, like hopefully more single player stuff to justify this high price.
A hefty price
If
tag.
if it's like the same kind of amount of content we've gotten in a lot of Mario Karts, but their big thing is because of this free roam thing, but there's not much with it. Like no, that would not be 80. I'm sorry.
So to kind of take a quick step away from Nintendo, I'm not opposed to higher game prices, and I said this years ago, back in the Xbox One through PS4 generation. I said that I'm not opposed to higher game prices because I would prefer games to be higher priced than to be filled with microtransactions. Um, if if the alternative to dealing with microtransactions was that I just pay $100 and I get everything in a game like all at once, like without having to deal with anything else, I'd be more okay with that personally. Um, $80 is an eye-watering price for Mario Kart. I think that is one. I think the price of the console wouldn't hurt people as much, but the price of the games is something potentially that's going to hurt them. Now, another factor with these games, they're cheaper when you buy them digital. And of course, it's like I just said, in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, when games ran on cartridges, cartridges are just more expensive to manufacture than discs. Disc, you just get a disc, you print the game on it, you slap a label on there, and you're good, right? Put it in a little plastic case, you send it out. Cartridges have to be manufactured, right? You need silicon and whatever. I don't know how cartridges are made, but you need computer stuff to get a cartridge made, and they're more expensive than discs. And so now we have the Switch 2, and they said in this direct that in order to, enable these games to run properly, and they said they had a little blog post kind of thing that I read through where they talked to the developers about the making of the Switch 2. I read through it, and the developers were talking about how the Switch 2's cartridges are a higher speed cartridge. They can transfer data much faster than a regular Switch cartridge. That's why old Switch SD cards aren't going to work on the new Switch. You're going to need to buy new, faster Switch SD cards. But so we're using more expensive cartridges. We're using more expensive stuff. It makes sense, but man, $80 is that's a hurt piece right there. That's I'm still gonna buy it, but that's a hurt piece, right? I'm still gonna buy it, but that's just I'm still gonna buy it, but that's crazy. I'm still gonna buy it though.
Yeah, I actually one thing I wanted to say was the difference in terms of how much internal memory there is between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Like
Yes.
it's pretty massive. It's a good amount, and usually Nintendo games themselves don't really use a lot of gigabytes. Like, I didn't have to get an SD card for my Switch 1 for like until like recently, like maybe a year ago. And I have like 20 plus 30, probably close to 30 like physical Switch games with all of them installed on it. And I didn't have to get more memory until then.
Yeah, the cartridges hold data, and that's a good thing about them is that they're able to hold a lot of data on the cartridge. Most of my Switch games, you could just put the cartridge in, it just starts. You don't have to do anything. It just starts up, which is can't be said about discs. But cartridges, put the cartridge in, the game starts. No biggie. Which is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to buy an SD card for my Switch until very, very, very late. Like I think within like the past like 1 or 2 years was when I finally bought an SD card for my Switch. I didn't have one for a really long time because I just didn't need one. Also, I hardly play my Switch, but
Yeah, I feel like most of every people's memories on Switch 2 is probably it would probably get filled up from like big third party games like
yes,
7 Remake or Elden Ring and all that
for
if
sure.
they get it on that system.
And if they're
But
doing a
like,
lot of digital purchases, of course.
yeah, because usually digital games have a little bit more memory than physical.
I
That's
mean, and
also why
like
I've been able to
we're
have so.
we're purists. Me and you, we're old school. We like the physical stuff, but you can't deny the fact that for a handheld console like the Switch, digital's just better. You can have more games at your disposal, Like digital's
Oh
just
yeah,
better.
yeah.
You can have all your games without having to, swap cartridges, potentially lose cartridges. Digital's just
Hmm.
better for a console like the Switch. There, I said it. I said it. I don't like it, but it's true.
You heathen.
I don't like it,
But
but it's true.
yeah, going back to the prices for just one small thing. I did see that the digital versions of these games, like of Mario Kart and one game we haven't talked about quite yet.
Yes.
The digital versions are cheaper. Only $10 cheaper than the physical versions, but it's still the fact that it seems like they're trying to push more for digital than physical, which I know it costs money for them to manufacture that stuff, but it's like I really hope that they don't just start going digital with games going forward at some point, because that honestly would be pretty devastating. But I have also seen the box art of what the Switch 2 cases look like, and yeah, they don't look pretty good.
I actually didn't see it. I'll have to put it up on screen.
Yeah,
So the
there's
folks at
one
home
of
can see.
Prime 4, and it just don't look good. But before getting to those last couple announcements, though,
Oh, I
there
like
was
this.
a
I like this.
you like that?
Yeah, I like it.
I guess I'd have to actually see it in
I
person.
mean the Donkey Kong Bonanza one looks really good. Um, I'll put them up on screen so those folks at home can take a look. I like them.
Oh, okay.
I think they look cool. I like that they're
But
all red. I like that. I think it's cool. Go on.
yeah, one game that we did kind of gloss over before the final two announcements was there was a new Hyrule Warriors announced
Wow,
as well.
I was so uninterested that I completely forgot about it,
Yeah.
and I mean that game, no
Um,
disrespect.
yeah, it's essentially just the story that takes place during the imprisonment war, like before Tears of the Kingdom, like the whole time that Zelda went back to and everything. I don't really know why they're making one for that. I'm not sure who was asking for that.
I mean,
Because
I
I know a
think
lot.
the last one did well.
I mean, it did. It did do very well, but I know a lot of people were asking for just seeing the actual, you know, Calamity War, me included. I was excited for that.
Wasn't that Age of Calamity?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you mean?
Yeah, that.
Did that not happen in that game?
Yes and no. As I said, they changed the story where kind of becomes its own thing. So it's like they're gonna do it with this one too.
Oh,
Like
well, that's unfortunate.
try and make everything all sunshines and rainbows when it wasn't. That's what we
You
wanted to
lost.
see.
Good day, sir.
Like
Yeah,
it
they
doesn't
should
have
have
to
had
be
like
a happy ending.
their Halo Reach moment, you know.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I was that's what I was weird waiting for, and then it didn't. Um, yeah, I mean, people really like the other Hyrule Warriors games. Then, hey, that's for you. That's for you. I probably won't pick it up, even though I do like the Dynasty Warriors games, and I have liked the other Warriors games, but
I didn't play Age of
I don't know.
Calamity, but
That was
uh,
pretty good. I haven't, I'd never beat it because it was just one of those where, yeah, I really enjoy this game, just doesn't pick it up again. For some
quickly,
reason.
because we're gonna have to wrap this up in a few here. Now that you mentioned Hyrule Warriors, it did remind me of one other thing. When they said that Pokemon ZA was going to give you getting Switch 2 enhancements, that got me thinking. What about that Scarvi? What about that Scarlet Violet? What about Scarlet Violet? What about Scarvi? Huh?
Honestly, when I get the Switch 2, I kind of just want to put the cartridge in it to see if it does anything
I
better.
doubt it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, what about Scarlet
Like,
Violet? Like, what happened to that?
yeah, I mean, no disrespect to people that really, really liked that game, but it's
All the
like,
disrespect to those people.
okay.
All of it. I want all the smoke. All the
All the
disrespect.
smoke.
I want all the smoke. Like
Yeah, it's like that game, I'm sorry, does not run good
that
at
game
all.
it ran. I have rarely in my life played a game that ran so badly that I couldn't finish it because of how bad it ran. That was that game. So I was like when they said Pokemon ZA, I was like, and then they were like, and that's it. I was like, okay. So
I mean, Legends Arceus ran better than Scarlet and Violet. The
Legends
granted,
Arceus was a better game,
let
I think.
well that too, but Legends Arceus also had the areas segmented in like different zones, whereas Scarlet and Violet was everything loaded up. But it's like, come on. That one definitely needs a improvement, especially since like a week after it came out, people were able to get it on PC and running at 60 frames perfectly
Well, my
fine.
thing with Pokemon Scarlet Violet is that like it's an open world game, and open world games like that, they run poorly because the system needs more memory. That's probably what the big issue was that it didn't have enough memory to render all the stuff that it was trying to render. You got to think all the Pokemon that appear in that game, they have to have data attached to them. There's like a
Yeah.
randomizer running in the background, you know what I mean? There's all this stuff like all over the place, all these like randomly generate all these randomly generating things. The Switch probably just couldn't handle it. More importantly, Game Freak should have never put that game on that all that system. They should have never done that much. If they knew it couldn't handle it, why would you do this? So I can only hope that maybe at some point later on they'll say, "Oh yeah, Pokemon Scarlet Violet's going to get Switch 2 enhancements." I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. That's how much I love Pokemon. I will pay you for it. Even though I hated that game and thought it ran like doo doo, I'll pay you for the enhancements, Nintendo, Pokemon Company, Game Freak, you freak of leaks. I'll pay you. Anyway, so there were two more games.
Anyway. Oh well, actually,
Yeah.
shoot. Another thing we kind of glossed over. Hey, GameCube.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Jeez, we
I
suck.
just remembered, like, yeah, like the thing that a lot of people were looking forward to. Yeah, GameCube coming to Switch
I know you were
Online.
looking for. We were playing Double Dash last night, right? Was that no? Not last night. The
A
night
couple
before.
nights ago, yeah.
Yeah. A couple nights ago, we were playing Double Dash on Dolphin, and you said something about that, and it's here. I'm a little surprised, but I'm not surprised. But yeah, GameCube's
I
coming. They showed a little sizzle of like a little list of games that are gonna come. I think we're probably gonna get some of them like in 2027, 2028. You know how they drip feed with these games.
yeah, I still don't have my DK64 on NSO or Smash Brothers or Diddy Kong Racing.
Smash Brothers 64, like why? That would be so much fun. Super Smash Brothers, the original, the OG for show G.
I'm sure we'll get these games eventually since they still add like NES and Super Nintendo and all those others from time to time. But I'm kind because what I predicted for one of the first games added was going to be like, Sunshine, Wind Waker. What was the other one I said? Probably like I don't know, the original Metroid Prime maybe. But
They wouldn't be
no,
Prime. They wouldn't even buy that remake.
I mean it would be after it. Um, so they added Wind Waker as one of the first ones, which I figured. Then you have Soul Calibur 2.
Soul Calibur 2.
Like
I was just playing Soul
what a
Calibur
pull.
2 the other day. I was doing some repairs on my GameCube and I was using Soul Calibur 2 to test it. So, what a coincidence, huh? Yeah, Soul
Yeah.
Calibur 2. That was a
And
game.
then the third game for the first wave was going to be F-Zero GX,
F-Zero
which I know a lot
GX.
which I know those F-Zero fans are very excited for that.
I am very excited to play that game again. My brother's copy of F-Zero GX does not work anymore. So I have not been able to play that game in years because it's expensive now. I found his old copy in the basement and it was scratched up, doesn't work anymore. I was like, dang. So I'm excited to play that game again. I missed that game. It's a great game. F
But yeah,
Zero
they show
GX.
the yeah, they showed a little scroll of other GameCube games that will be added at some point. Like I seen Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, I seen Mario Strikers. I even saw Pokemon Coliseum and Gale of Darkness, which wow.
Personally, I would have
Because those
preferred
are
and like an
fine.
HD remaster of those, like as a package deal. Like you get both like combined in like an HD remaster that you have to buy. I would have preferred that to just having a straight port
I would
because
have
I
I would have liked that, yeah.
I think those games are very special, and they don't get enough hype and enough talk about them. They're very special games. I enjoy. I played both of those games to 100% completion several times growing up. I really enjoyed those. Believe actually those are the first Pokemon games I ever played. Was uh XD and Gale of Darkness were the first Pokemon games I ever played. So those were awesome.
Oh. and I used to have Gale of Darkness, but
I
mine just
had
didn't work.
I had the Gale of Darkness GameCube,
Oh,
but
wow.
I did. I don't have it anymore. It's a long, sad story, but I did
Oh,
have it when I was a
but
child.
I don't know if I missed it during the presentation, but I don't think they said anything about a price increase with GameCube being added.
They
I
did
don't
not
remember
say
them
anything about a
saying
price increase with
anything.
GameCube being
So
added.
that has me a little
I mean,
concerned since they were.
they hiked the price already when they added N64 and Sega Genesis, right? Didn't they already up the price then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't imagine like GameCube is going to be any different. I think that'll just
Oh
be like
yeah.
tacked on.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a little bit of a price increase with GameCube being added. If I'm being honest.
wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all. Um, New York City, the Switch event, the Switch 2 preview event in New York City, sold out. I'm not going. Sorry. I should have thought about it earlier, but because I went to the Switch 1's preview event. And when I went to the Switch 1 preview event, right? So here's the thing. This is going to be a brief story. We're running pretty long on time here. But Switch 1 preview event. I remember before I went to the event, right? Because they had like the Switch One tour bus thing. So before I went to the event,
Yeah.
I saw a Switch in Target or GameStop or something like that, and I played the demo on there, and I was like, wow, that was my first time playing the Switch. And the Switch preview event that they had with the tour bus thing was the same exact demo. So, um, it's possible that this is going to be like the same thing. Like that. That's why I initially didn't really have that much interest in going to New York because New York takes forever to get into the city. You know what I mean? Like it takes forever to get in there. You got to go to the event, and hotels in New York are so stupidly expensive. I mean, like I could go to New York and come back home like the same day, right? But it's a hassle, and so anyway, final announcement time. Time to talk about that final announcement. The two final announcements. Two
I was gonna say that's
bombshells.
plural.
Two bombshells. Like when I tell you that my childhood dream came true, and then right after that, Smooth's childhood dream came true.
Bro, I couldn't breathe.
That's exactly what happened. Kirby Air Ride 2, titled Kirby Air Riders, the secret game that legendary developer Masahiro Sakurai has been developing, is Kirby Air Ride 2. And I am so excited for this game. It was just a trailer. It was just a cinematic trailer. It's supposed to be coming out later on this year. Hopefully we hear about it a little bit more. Maybe Sakurai will post a video about it on his channel. But Air Ride 2. Air Ride, for those who are not familiar, it's a racing game on the GameCube with extremely simple controls. It's only one button to do everything in that game. You move the control stick and you press a button to do stuff. It's a very simple game. It's a very interesting game, but if I'm being brutally honest, it's not a very good game overall. I loved it as a kid. I was obsessed with Kirby as a kid. Kirby's the first video game I ever played. So I had a very, very strong attachment to Kirby growing up. So if it was Kirby, I was all over it. So I loved Air Ride growing up. The city trial mode was super, super fun. That's like probably the mode that most people remember the most is City Trial, where you're in a big city driving around and random events can happen. It's super fun, super chaotic. I can't wait to see what he does with that. The regular races are fine; they're not super special, but and the top ride mode is eh. But what was really great about Kirby Air Ride was the checklist, because if you're familiar with Smash Brawl, and I believe Ultimate also had the checklist. Kirby Air Ride was where that checklist originated, if I'm remembering correctly. And you do challenges in the game and you unlock those check boxes, and it was so fun. And I completed the whole game. I completed the whole game. I did all the check boxes, all of them. I completed the whole thing. It was so much fun completing all those check boxes. Like I can't, like, it's hard to explain. I feel like I'm gonna have to do an Orbit episode about Kirby Air Ride. I'm still trying to repair my GameCube back there. I gotta replace some capacitors on the motherboard. But once I get my GameCube up and running like 100%, I'm doing a review of Air Ride. We're doing an Orbit episode all about Air Ride because I have to express to you how special that game is. So, and I never in a million years thought we would get a sequel because it was so obscure. It was obscure. It was not received well. It didn't sell super great. You know what I mean? Like, so I just figured it was just a dead series. It was never going to come back, and here we are, the year of our Lord 2025, and we air riding again. We're air riding
And
again.
knowing Sakurai and how
Oh,
much
he about to put his foot in
stuff
it.
and how
He
okay
he
and
about to
how
put his
much
foot in it. Hmm.
and how much content that he tries to pack into his games, there's probably gonna be a good chunk of stuff to do in this new game.
He is about to put his foot in this game, brother. Let me tell you, like
And
is
I
this
do
this is it's about to be off the hook. Like,
and I do like the fact that he still teases and pranks fans so much because whenever that sparkle went down,
yeah,
I honest to God thought it was gonna be Smash.
I thought it was
Like
Smash
there's
Brothers.
no
Again,
way. There's
again,
no way.
watch my live reaction for my live thoughts. I was like, oh, I was surprised. I was like, wow, they're doing Smash Brothers already. I was like, I thought they'd wait a little bit for Smash, but I guess they're doing it. And then the little jets came out of the back of that air ride machine. I was like, boy.
I mean, granted, I usually say, oh man, Smash already when Ultimate came out in like 2018.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was for sure a Smash already moment. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like I don't expect a new Smash until like maybe 27. Hey, I could be wrong. They could release a year or two of the Switch 2. Who knows?
Who knows? Anything could happen.
That's what they did with the Switch 1. Freaking the second year of Switch. Hey, here's Smash already. It's like, oh, okay.
So, I was very excited for Air Ride 2. I cannot wait to play that game. That's like a dream come true for me. Smooth. Would you like to talk about your dream? Would you like to talk about your dreams? The floor is yours. Go. Go.
The dream that literally made me tear up when seeing it.
Oh, you're such a
We
sap.
I don't shut up. I don't care. I've waited years for this. The fact that we finally have not only a original Donkey Kong game after like 11 years of nothing original aside from ports, but a 3D seems to be open world, possibly DK game. Ever in like 25, 26 years since DK64, we hadn't had a single 3D Donkey Kong game, and it looks incredible. Like it looks like it's the Odyssey team or people that worked on Super Mario Odyssey
They for sure gave it the
because
Odyssey treatment. It's beautiful.
it like the way it looks like it plays, like just the music, it screams an Odyssey feeling Donkey Kong game, and I I couldn't believe what I was seeing when it got showed. I
Yeah.
Obviously it was just, one trailer, so we don't know a lot. It's just, hey, 3D DK, there you go, and it looks just incredible. Like I can't express how much I've been wanting a new DK game. Like and Jax knows this. Because in his reaction when it was popping up, he's like, I got a message Smooth."
I text this man right away. I sent him that Discord right away. I told him clock out, go home.
Go home, you're gonna need it.
Go home. It's like call an ambulance, but not for me.
Pretty much. Like I grew up with playing Donkey Kong games all the time, and it sucked always getting ports and remasters for like 11 years. Like having Tropical Freeze go from Wii U to Switch, that made sense. And then after that, we all figured, oh, fine, maybe hopefully an original DK game. And then they port Country Returns for some reason. But in the back of my mind, I was really hoping that they did that just to hold us over a little bit longer, and literally a little bit longer, because they dropped the release date and it's releasing in July, a
July.
month and a half after the Switch 2, which I thought that it was going to be a holiday game. No, it's releasing in summer,
Yizzer.
which is crazy. And I'm just looking forward to more news about it and more trailers, because it's just something I've been wanting for years now, and I still can't believe it. The only game series that would top it with getting a new game would be Banjo. That's about it.
Um, yeah, I was floored by it. That was a jaw dropper. Like I said, look, man, I myself am a huge Donkey Kong fan. Um, I grew up on the Super Nintendo games, DKC 1, 2, 3. Played them on Super Nintendo. Played them on Game Boy Advance. I love Donkey Kong. He's my main in Mario Kart. I love playing as him. I love Donkey Kong, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy to see a new Donkey Kong game. I honestly feel like, Smooth, if you'd want to come back on the show next week and just talk only about Donkey Kong, I would not mind doing it in Orbit Weekly strictly about Donkey Kong. You know, like I would not mind just talking entirely about this game, breaking down the trailer. Um, we could do that sometime next week. But man, it's exciting to see a Donkey Kong game in 3D, getting the Mario Odyssey treatment. It looks like a blast. You're just going to be running around bashing stuff and just it just looks great. It just looks really really
It,
great. I'm excited for it. I'm very excited.
I,
Uh,
I like that they kind of teased everybody at the beginning, making it look like it was going to be the next 3D Mario, which
yes.
I'm sure will be coming probably next year, honestly, or
Major
shoot,
curveball.
or
I
like shoot, maybe they're still saving it. I don't know.
That was a major curveball. I did not expect this to be Donkey Kong. Like, what Donkey Kong? I did not expect this to be Donkey. I thought it was Mario, and then I saw those little chimps. I was like, then I saw him punch through the screen. I was like, and then he showed up, and I was like, woo. You know what I mean? Like yo, like dude pulled
It,
up.
it,
Yeah, like Nintendo pulled up on the block with, and then they popped the trunk, and it was full of Switch 2s, and
like I would be ecstatic if it had somehow had the same amount of content as Odyssey. Like that'd be crazy.
I don't see why it wouldn't. But that's a day one purchase for me. Smooth.
Oh,
Have you been
easily.
convinced to purchase a Switch 2 on day one?
As I was saying multiple times to Jax, I wasn't I, I wasn't going to get this console day one. I wanted to wait for a while, in terms of like financial reasons, and the fact that I would like to wait for like a themed Switch. So like if they, I don't know, released like one that's based off of maybe Kirby Air Riders or any other game that comes later, like how they have the Tears of the Kingdom OLED, like that kind of thing.
You mean my Tears of the Kingdom OLED?
Yeah, sure. Um,
Did you want that
but
system?
no, I'm not. No,
Oh, okay.
if I could have gotten that, I could have gotten that many times over. I always saw that Walmart. Uh, but I told him the one things that would make me get this console immediately would be a new DK game, and Nintendo had to have been listening. That's like one of the few things. Even if it was a new 3D Mario, I would still have to bite the bullet and still say no. But like DK is one of my boys. I love the franchise so much. I have to get it. Even though I love Mario Kart a lot too, like I'd have to bite the bullet on that, even though that looks fantastic as well. But DK won me over, so yeah, that is gonna be a day one for me.
We have flipped the seat. Smooth is a day one Switch 2 owner. I'm going to try to be a day one Switch 2 owner. Hopefully I can get one. I know they're going to sell like hotcakes. Hopefully I can get one. Now,
Yeah, the pre-orders
I have
go up
another
on
question for you,
April
Smooth.
9th.
I have another. Yeah, pre-order start April 9th, $450 for a base model, $500 if you want it with the Mario Kart game. I have another question for you, Smooth. Will you join me in buying Hot Shots Golf or Everybody's Golf Hot Shots for the PlayStation 5? Will you join me, Smooth, in buying Hot Shots, Everybody's Golf Hot Shots? Will you join me? Will you join me?
I think I hear DK calling my name. Hang on.
Will you join me, Smooth? Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. Golfing on PlayStation. It's fun.
Sure, I guess.
All right, guys, that's all
I'm
we got
confused.
for this here episode. We tried to talk about everything. We ran way over on time here. I'd not expect this to be this long, but time flies when you're talking
there
about
was a lot.
Nintendo. There was a lot to talk about. You can't expect something like this to be too short. Time flies when you talk about Nintendo. But Smooth, of course, welcome back to Orbit. It's been forever since I've done Orbit in this kind of format. So welcome to Orbit Weekly. Welcome back to Orbit in general.
Yeah, I've been kind of drifting in space. He finally threw that rope to me so I can get back in.
Oh, I'd like to think we abducted you using like a tractor beam, like a UFO.
Oh,
We just like lifted
yeah,
you.
fair.
Like while you were on the toilet, we lifted you off the toilet.
Not the toilet.
Oh boy. If you made it all the way to the end of this episode, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. There's going to be more coverage of everything Switch. We've got Direct. We've got Nintendo Treehouse, which is going to be happening over the next couple of days. And we've got another Nintendo Direct all about Mario Kart World. When is that, Smooth? On the 7th, the 17th? 7th?
Yeah, the Mario Kart World Direct will be on April 17th. I think they are I believe they are showcasing the game at the Treehouses as well. I know they're showcasing Donkey Kong Bonanza. That I'm going to be looking forward to. I know they're also showcasing Prime 4. They went through a lot of games. So, even some like Switch 2 edition ones, which I'm not sure why, but sure, I guess.
Stay tuned. There's going to be more Orbit Weekly. I'm going to be at this every week, whether Smooth's with me or not. I'm going to be at this every week talking about gaming topics, etc., etc. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week for more Nintendo Switch goodness. I'm out of here.